Okay, guys. All hunkered down. I've been sitting in the front seat just watching some YouTube. I have this little anchor. I have you suction cupped to my car window so I can just have it mounted where I can watch it. I have a Bluetooth speaker over here. It's a pretty sweet setup, actually. Let me take that off. So it's only 16 degrees right now out here in the desert. Fahrenheit, of course. And it's only 9:30 p.m. So the weather report for the city said 21 degrees, 22 degrees overnight. It's already well below that. So this is a 0-degree bag. I heated the interior of the car up really well. Ran it for a while and just got it really hot, almost uncomfortable in here, and then shut it off. So I'm all hunkered down in this thing, this Outdoor Vitals bag. It's really quite comfortable and soft and warm, but it's very tight around me, and I'm only 5'10", and I'm not like 300 pounds. This would fit my kids comfortably. I'm having a hard time keeping the zipper zipped. I pull it up and struggle a bit if I move my arms apart at all, it unzips. So I don't know. I don't know if their version of a large is the same as mine. Anyway, it's around me. It covers me. I just want to be comfortable. I don't want to wrestle with the thing all night long. We'll see how that goes. I'm not worried about being cold. I kept my clothes on instead of just sleeping in my thermals, and that was because I needed the pockets to keep my lighter warm and a couple other things I got in my pockets just to keep them warm. I got my flashlight here. I drank the rest of my Gatorade from when I refueled on the way here. This is my trucker bomb, my bathroom, so I don't have to go out into the freezing cold and pee. One of the luxuries of being a man is you can just take care of business right here. I don't know how. I guess if you're a woman, then you would have to go out there in the desert and squat in the dark and be really cold. That sucks. But thankfully I have this. I didn't plan this. It just occurred to me. I've done it before when I've camped with my kids, especially. We've had a special bottle so they didn't have to get out of the tent. Anyway, that's about it. I'm about to turn off the lights in here and call it a night. It's bedtime. Gonna watch a little bit more of a video, and then I'm tired. I had 4 hours of sleep yesterday and 3 hours this morning. 7 hours sleep in 2 days is not enough, so I am gonna call it a night, my friends. I hope you're having fun on this journey with me out here at Locomotive Springs. I am really looking forward to exploring and fishing tomorrow. I took a night hike over to the spring here, and there's a healthy layer of ice at 16 degrees. There would be, but tomorrow it's supposed to be in the 40s, so hopefully the top layer will melt. Anyway, also I figured out where the arrow is. It's not very far from where we are, and we'll go check that out, the aircraft arrow. And that's about it. I'm looking forward to a comfy night. This mattress is all right. Could use a little more air. The cold air's kind of let the air out, or the air's gone down in it because it's cold. So I may put some more air in. I've got the pump right here. I've got everything I need within reach, so this is pretty cozy. I am not going to crack the windows. I was concerned about the condensation because I've done this before, and the windows get all kinds of drips down them, and then you have to clean it all later because of all the condensation. But at least I'll be warm. Okay, shut up, Steve. Go to sleep. Good night, guys. I will see you in the morning. So just a little update, guys. It's about 20 minutes after midnight right now. And here's the temperature. Right there, 10 degrees. I don't know if you can really make that out very well, but it is 10 degrees outside. What's happening is I've lost a lot of the air in my mattress because of the cold air. Just like when you sleep on a sleep pad when you're backpacking, the cold air, you blow it up, it's nice and firm, and then the temperature drops and it shrivels up. Same thing with the air mattress. So the down bag from Outdoor Vitals is doing a great job. It's keeping me mostly warm and comfortable. 0 degree bag means it's survivable at 0 degrees. If you had to survive, it doesn't mean you'll be comfy and warm at 0 degrees. So 10 is really pushing it. So I'm still really warm in there, but it's definitely testing its limits. I could tell it wasn't quite as warm and comfortable as it was when I first got into it and got settled. So I slept really solid for what, almost 3 hours really, and then I just woke up because I had pulled the mummy bag string tight and my nose was exposed so I could breathe. Well, my nose got really cold, and then I realized my hip was on the floor, and I was like, I wonder what time it is, and I looked at the clock, and then I was like, I should just warm the car up a little bit. If it was 16 degrees at 9:30, I wonder what the temperature is now, and my mind just started going. So I'm kind of awake. The moon is out, as I can see around me. It's not so pitch black, but it's only about a half a moon, like I said, and I'm just gonna sit here in the front seat and get warm until I feel sleepy again. I'm so glad I didn't bring a tent and rely on that for this trip. It's 10 degrees Fahrenheit. That's 22 degrees below freezing and 10 degrees above zero, almost into the negatives. We're closer to those than we are to temperatures that aren't freezing. So it's best that I warm the car up and not let it get too cold. And so grateful I'm not in a tent sleeping on the ground. That would have been awful. So when the temps get this low, you're risking your health and safety if you're out hiking and backpacking if you don't have awesome gear. And I came up here with full confidence, knowing I had a car to kind of protect me and keep me warm if things got bad enough. And they kind of have. 10 degrees is nothing to screw around with. So I'm going to put some more air in the mattress too. It's always an adventure, isn't it? That's why I call it that. Okay, guys, just wanted to check in. I'll shut up. Hopefully we'll just see you in the morning, and I'll give you an update. Morning. It's going on 8 a.m. and the sun isn't quite awake yet, neither am I. It is a balmy and tropical 6 degrees Fahrenheit outside right now. You can believe that. 6. That's not a temperature, that's an age. Or an IQ for some people. Here's how the night went. As you can see, I've got my flapper hat on, my hoodie, inside the bag, unzip it a little here. I also put on some winter snow pants that I brought. I knew I would need the insulating layer. So after I changed into all of that, I did that while I was trying to wind down enough to go back to sleep at 1 in the morning or whatever that was. After all of that, I climbed back in here, put some more air in the mattress. It's held up. The mattress has shrunk a little. That's comfortable. Anyway, I was pretty warm. I warmed up the car a little bit ago because I started getting a chill. But I mean, the truth is, this bag has done a great job considering that it's 6 degrees and it's a 0 degree bag. So yeah, I did have to add layers, but that's a given, you know, under the circumstances. I would have had to if I were camping anywhere. So I'm glad I wasn't in a tent. That's all I can say. That little parking lot I considered camping at, there's a Jeep over there, a couple of guys in camo with shotguns. Apparently it is hunting season, so they're out looking for birds. And there are geese aplenty this morning. They've been flying over, making all kinds of noise. That Jeep drove by here, and I heard the motor, and it woke me up. They're probably wondering what I'm doing out here and not trying to shoot something. People must think I'm crazy. I'll drive all the way out in the middle of nowhere by myself just to video something. I don't think I'm going to eat the warm grits yet. I don't think it's warm enough. I want the sun to come up. In the meantime, I'll probably have either the Pop-Tart or the breakfast biscuit or something. Got my trucker bomb. That's good, trucker bomb. Okay, what happened there? I ended up getting really thirsty, so I mixed up the lemonade powder. It's not pee. If my pee was that color, I'd be going to a hospital, I think. So that came in handy. That was in the little accessory pack. So I am not drinking pee, in case you're wondering. It's been a good night. This bag is really, really comfortable. I'm excited to use it when it's not so close to its limits, pushing it to its limits. And these little flapper things that I showed you that kind of come up to your shoulders like this, they come around your shoulders. They really make a difference. I didn't know if they were gimmicky or if they actually served a purpose. Trust me, guys, they really helped with the warmth. The only problem I have is the zipper's on the front, but I had to turn sideways. So there's a lot of give in this bag front to back. So you can lay sideways and have room to move this way. But side to side, it's super tight. And geez, it's just not big enough, guys. I'm a grown man, and this is made for a grown person. I don't know, man. I just, it's warm and cozy, and it hugs you nicely, but the zipper part has been frustrating because it's so tight on me, and I'm genuinely concerned that over time, the zipper is going to become damaged from having to move in such a confined space. So my review of the bag so far is I'm a little disappointed in its size. Everything else it performed well, and I especially like these flapper things. But I am not a fan of how small it is width-wise. You know, I've never experienced that before. Even my Teton Sports 5-degree bag that I've got at home has some give to it. So I'm probably going to use this more like a quilt than a sleeping bag, which means putting my feet in and just pulling it around me rather than zipping it all up like this. Just kind of doing this thing and sleeping that way, which is fine. There's at least some give here. That's how the bag did, in case you were wondering, gearheads out there. Let me show you what today looks like before I kind of doze off for a little while again. The sun is just coming up over the horizon, as you can see. There's camp. It's nice and frosted over. Everything's frozen. I don't think any animals came around the whole night. I checked every time I got out to pee or something. So there's the morning in the desert. There's a nice shot, huh? This is interesting. Right here, there's no ice. There's steam coming off. And I can see where the springs are actually bubbling up from underneath. So it's too warm to freeze over right there where the rocks end. Interesting. I wonder if the water's warm or if it's still pretty frigid. I can't imagine it being warm with the layer of ice that's just beyond it. I'm not going to touch it and find out. But if I were a fish, I would hang out right there. I don't know if it camera picks it up, but to the naked eye there's a constant ripple in the water from the springs bubbling up. What a beautiful morning. Good morning, sunshine. Everything's frosted over. 6 degrees. It's about what you'd expect. Sorry about the glare through here. The sun is coming in that direction. There's not a lot I can do about it. Okay, so here's the situation. I was exploring for a bit and accidentally dropped one of my winter gloves here into the water. And honestly, that water is not ice cold. When I fished that, well, obviously if it was ice cold it would be frozen, but I fished that glove out and it was kind of room temperature. I wouldn't call it warm enough to swim in or soak in like a hot spring, but it's definitely warm right there where the water was rippling and bubbling up. The problem I'm facing right now is it is 6 degrees Fahrenheit still. It'll get warmer from here up into the 40s at some point today. I can't fish at the moment. The reason why is just taking my gloves off. See, my fingertips are red. Just taking my gloves off, cut myself. Don't you hate it when you cut yourself and you don't know how you did it? Probably batoning wood. Every time I took off my glove to hit record and film, it would literally be seconds before my fingers hurt. So I got what I got on video. I really need to dry my gloves out. That's important. I've got my coat on, I've got my hoodie on, I've got thermals on, I've got my ski pants on, I've got waterproof boots on, I've got this thing on. I am warm and comfortable, and it was fun exploring, but once my hands got cold, I had to come in here and warm my gloves up and dry my hands. As you saw in the opening sequence there of the camp, the stove is frozen over. But the fuel is right here, all wrapped up and warm. So it's nice and toasty in here. So I'm not worried about that, but as soon as my gloves warm back up, I'll go out and heat up some grits and some cocoa and we'll have us a nice breakfast. So that's where it's at. I don't like to heat this blue cup. It was a gift for my buddy Joe, and I love the sheen on it. So I heat stuff in this, and then I pour it into this. Unless I'm eating out of this, then that's no big deal, but I don't eat out of this. This is strictly for a nice warm beverage. So now we need to heat some more water for the grits. Got our toaster pastry here ready to go too. The gas is struggling already. Managed to heat enough water for my drink. It's sputtering and I really just need it to boil. It's having a really hard time. I might have to resort to my Espit stove. In fact, I think I will. Huh. My little Espit stove fits perfect right there in the burner, and that'll hold it in place. That's pretty cool. That's good to know. Whoops, dropped my paper. Kept my lighter warm, kept it in my pocket all night. There we go. I'm gonna let it prime for a second before I put the water on it. Learned my lesson leaving fuel and lighters and that kind of thing out in the cold at night, only to discover later that they were useless in the morning. Same with water filters. Don't need one out here. I mean, I could have used one at the spring, I guess, but I brought my 5 gallons of water. I don't want to be in the desert without it. But I've learned my lesson about letting things freeze overnight. All right, that should be good. Perfect. Now we'll have some boiled water and some grit. Well, I don't have a boil really, and the Espit cube's about gone, but it is extremely hot water, and I think it'll work. I always have to put a little twig in the top because this handle on this pot flops over. Then when I remove the lid, I have to touch it to lift it, and it burned my fingers. So I started putting a stick in it like that just to make it easier on myself. Ta-da! Look at that beautiful steam. All right. Grits galore. Yeah, that Espit cube's gone. There's nothing left of it at all. I don't usually burn them completely up like that, but this time I did. In case you're wondering about my hands, it's warmed up significantly with the sun higher in the sky. I did get my gloves dried out, but I haven't needed them just this morning. So these are pretty runny. I'm gonna let it sit for a little while and thicken up. Don't really want soup for breakfast. I got ramen if I want that. Stay here, let's just put it here. In the meantime, we'll start on this Pop-Tart. Let that do its thing. During the night, I got kind of hungry when I was up at 1 a.m. So I had the PB&J from the MRE along with my lemonade. It actually helped me sleep better. It kept me, when you eat right before bed, you probably know this, but your body has to work to digest it and it heats you up. So it helped keep me warm. So here's the military version of the chocolate chip Pop-Tart. Want some? In my early videos, I took Pop-Tarts with me on all my backpacking trips, and I got so sick of them, I still don't buy them. My kids beg me. I'll buy them for them, but this has like a gooey chocolate center. That's good. It'd be better if it was warm, but it's all right. I feel like I'm wearing a fat suit. I got these bulky snow pants, this bulky coat, this big hat. Here's the plan for the rest of the day. This tastes like cookie dough. Yeah. So we're gonna drive up the road. I figured out where the arrow is, and it's an obvious marker over here that you walk through these two tall. It almost looks like a gateway, but without the gate. And then you stroll down the road a ways, the former runway. The new runway that's here is kind of goes over the old landing strip, and there's still remnants of the old one you can see from satellite. But we're gonna walk down that towards the arrow and check it out. Then after that, I want to check out some of the other springs around here. My buddy who lives up here in this county, this is Box Elder County, the northwestern portion of Utah. He knows this area inside and out. He's a former deputy for this county, and he literally had to patrol all of this. Every dirt road. He had to rescue people. He had to chase people down for years. He's retired now. Works with me at the hospital. He's the one that tipped me off to this place. He knows this area really well, knows all the cool places to go. But he said that everyone comes to this one because the road leads right here to this spring. But there's one called East Lake further out that way. And I kind of want to find my way to that because he said there's fish in there. And as the sun gets higher and that top layer of ice melts, I have a better chance of catching something. Then after a while, we'll have lunch, which will be ramen and whatever else I have in there. I'm really surprised. I've used most of this MRE. That usually doesn't happen. I usually separate it into pieces and use what I separated later in another video, but I'm using it all up this time. It says something about its quality, except for those cranberries. Nasty. You know what? I don't even know anybody who'll eat them. So what I may do is tear them open and dump them here and let there's kangaroo mice that hop around here all night long. I'll let them have at it. They would love that. They're probably starving. They'll find it. I'll put it in some sagebrush over there. Anyway, at the very end of our trip, we'll go back over to those ruins, that cabin and where we started the video series. There's that one remaining train car I didn't check out that I said I would go back to. We'll hit that just before we head out of here. So I've got a pretty big plan. It should take a few hours. Should be okay. In places at least, and I can throw my line in and see what... Whoa! I don't know what just happened. Okay, let me try this. There we go. Sorry about that. I didn't realize it was on a timer. Whoa. camera fell. As you saw in the, what is that? Well, what's the point of that? I can't see what I'm filming.